Hello everyone, in this tutorial we will see how can we add extra fields to our API response using the serializer in order to enhance the response and provide more data on the go without the need to store that data. And to demonstrate that, I created a new app. I called it Racing. It's a simple app, and inside the models.py I create a model that represents the driver, and this model has three fields: the driver name, the car brand that the driver is driving, and the round finishing time. And this will represent for example, Formula 1 racing, where the car needs to finish multiple rounds at a certain time. So this model will represent that, and I created a serializer also here for that model that will serialize the data from the model, plus a ModelViewSet in order to process the query from the database, and plus a urls.py to give me an endpoint for the requests that I need to perform. And as you notice here, I didn't put the views URLs serializer in an API folder because I've been receiving questions that why we are putting these files, the serializers, URLs, and views.py files inside an API folder. Does it have to be this way? So the answer is no, it doesn't have to be inside an API folder. It's just a way of organizing your files. You can put it in the root directory of your application. It doesn't matter. So let's run our server and then add some data and see how can we add an extra field to our response. So first thing first, make sure your virtual environment is running in the terminal, and then run the migrations. So after you create any application, you need to run the migrations. So first you make migrations, and then it will detect if you have a new data. I already did the migration, so that's why it's not detecting anything. And then you run migrate, and then after that we run the server. Okay, so no migrations here because I already did the migration. Now we just run the server. So python manage.py run server, and then after we run the server we'll go to the admin panel, and then there we will just add some data to demonstrate the whole process. So if we go here to drivers, and then let's add some data. So let's say the first driver name is Joe and his car is Mercedes, and then he finished the first round or the round in let's say 15 minutes, and then we save it, and then we add another driver, let's say Mark, and then we his car is BMW and he finished the round is like in 14 minutes, let's say. These are just examples, guys. And then we add another driver, let's name for example Steve, and his car is McLaren, and he finished in 10 minutes, for example. One more, let's add one more. Oh no, let's see if that's enough. Okay, so if we open the Postman and perform a GET request to the URL or the endpoint that represents our application. We should get our data from the database, and you see here I've got the 3 drivers with each one's finishing time. Okay, we are representing here, for example, 1 round, okay, in the race. So this is a normal response from the database, telling us the information about each driver. Okay, what if I want to know, for example, or add to each object of these the best time, okay, or the best record that a driver did, not specifically Joe, for example. You see here, for example, Steve did the best record because he finished the round on 10 minutes only, and I want to show that here with the object, or the Joe's object, for example, or Mark's object, that Joe's time was 15 minutes, but this wasn't the best record because the best record was achieved by Steve and was 10 minutes. So I want to do that or achieve that by adding an extra field to the response inside a serializer. So if we go to the serializer.py file, in order to add an extra field here, first I need to declare a variable as a serializer method field, and I will name it best record, for example, best record equal, and this will be a serializer method field. So I'll just say serializers dot serializer method field, and inside here I want to specify the name of the method that I want to create, and it will be a private method. So I'll start with underscore, and then let's name it get best record, for example. And down or below this I need to define this method, and then this will take self as an argument, plus it will take the driver object, and this object is the object that's coming from the view, okay, or the driver object. And inside this method, because I'm getting the driver object here, so I can extract the finishing, as you see here, the model, I can extract the round finishing time from it simply by typing round finishing time equal get attribute, and inside here I'll specify the object, which is the driver object, and then the field that I want to get the value for, so it's the rounding or round finishing time. So by doing that I'll get the round finishing time for each driver. Okay, and now what I'm going to do, I'm going to compare this finishing time to a best, let's say best record or best time, and then if it's below the best time I'm going to update the best time. If it's not, I'm just going to return the best time. Okay, so I'm going to declare here, just to make it simple to serve the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to just declare a variable, call it best time, and I'm going to set it to 30 minutes, for example. And then inside here I'm going to say if the round finishing time is existed, and the round finishing time is smaller than best time, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to return, okay, I'm going to update first the best time. So let me just bring it here. So in order to use the global variable inside this method, I'm going to say global best time, and here if the round finishing time is smaller than the best time, I'm going to update the best time. So best time equal round finishing time, and then I'll return the best time, else I'm just going to return the best time, which is the previous value of the best time. Okay, so what this will do is we'll check each finishing time for each driver compared to the best time that was achieved in that round, and then give me back the best time. And this will allow me to add best record as an extra field to my serializer. So I can simply just say best record and add it here. Now let's save that and wait for the server to rerun. And now if we go to Postman and then perform the GET request, I can see here that each object came back with an extra field, which is the best record. So this first one was Joe. Okay, Joe finished the round in 15 minutes. So what this function or method in the serializer did is compared this 15 minutes to the 30 minutes, and then found that 15 minutes is smaller, so it returned the best record 15 minutes. The other driver came and then achieved or finished the round in 14 minutes, and then the method did the same and updated the best record. And the same thing happened to Steve. And let's say that another driver came and completed the round in for example 13 minutes. So let me go and add this driver. To do it quick, I just want to do it in the admin panel. So I'm going to come here and add another driver. Let's for example say Sam, and he's driving a Ferrari, and then he completed the round in 13 minutes. Let's save it. So if I go here and perform another GET request, I'll see that even though Sam completed the round in 13 minutes, I got here the best record 10 minutes. So it's showing me that Sam didn't beat the best record, which is 10 minutes. So as you see guys, we managed to add an extra field, do some calculations and provide more data without even the need to store this best record. Okay, and this is very handy in lots of applications, and for the purpose of the video I just made it simple just for you guys to see how can we add that. Obviously here you can add more fields by just declaring another serializer method field, and then adding another method, and then returning another value, and then just add the name of the field here. Plus inside for example inside the serializer, because you're receiving the object from the view, you can use any field of this object, for example, to perform another query and then return a value and add it as a field to the serializer. And this value here is just, I made it, I declared it as a global variable. It could be, or it should be, coming from the database as a best time, but just for, or to make things simple, I just kept it this way. Obviously it's not the best practice, but hopefully guys you learned something new from this video. Hopefully guys you'll make use of this in your applications in case you need it. And that's it guys for this tutorial. I hope it was useful, and if you learned something new, please like and subscribe, and until the next one.